Good morning, gang. Happy Friday morning. Live from Indianapolis, here with my notes in front of me. Oh, wait, I'm not live. Oh, I guess I'm qualified to run for president. Yeah, okay. So, did anybody else pay attention to the clown show that was the 16-minute recorded interview yesterday with Kamala Harris? It was a joke, to be polite. The lying, the blame, the double talk, the word salad of yesterday was humorous at best. You can tell it's a sinking ship. Uh, the whole night she spent her time blaming Trump, blaming Biden, wouldn't acknowledge much at all the fact that she's currently the vice president. A lot of time she spent talking about her time as a prosecutor, her time as a senator, and all the great things she did. But she really couldn't talk about any great things she did while she's been vice president. It just goes on along to the same stuff that we have where she's trying to make everybody think Donald Trump is the incumbent and she's the outsider coming in to fix it. It was funny. Like I said, the interview was all of 16 minutes. How much of it was edited, who knows? And then, of course, afterwards, she went off to do a rally where she decided to pull out all the fake Kamala Harris accents again, her Southern accent, her inner city accent, et cetera, et cetera. People see through all that sort of stuff. But for those of you that didn't hear some of the crazy stuff that she said last night, I want to talk a little bit about what she did say and also what she didn't say. So first thing I want you to take a look at is this chart. And this will show you what the public's top policy priorities are for 2024. And you can pretty much guess what they are, all right? The economy is number one. That shouldn't surprise anybody, okay? Defending against terrorism is number two. You can probably bring a lot of that into the southern border as well, because we all know it's all military-age males that are coming across the southern border. Reducing the influence of money in politics. Okay, I think that's just a polite way that Pew put this. That's where this chart came from, is Pew Research. Reducing the influence of money in politics. I think this would be more or less talking about all the super PACs, all the corruption, all the buying of secretaries of state. You saw the story yesterday about Pennsylvania breaking state law by bringing in poll watchers from other states, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. Reducing healthcare costs, sure. Okay. Improving education. Hell, I'd like to see it be education. Making Social Security financially sound. Yeah, that would be a good one. Reducing crime, dealing with immigration. Okay, there's your top 8. So let's start. Let's see how her great ideas are on strengthening the economy. And I want you to look at her first clip on this.
But I wonder what you say to voters who do want to go back when it comes to the economy specifically, because their groceries were less expensive, housing was more affordable when Donald Trump was president.
Well, let's start with the fact that when Joe Biden...
Okay, very proud of bringing inflation down to less than 3%. May I remind you that it was your policies that took inflation up to 9%, and bringing it down to 3% is still more than twice as high as it was under Donald Trump when he left office. Inflation at that point was 1.4%. So let's give you this. In the entirety so far of the Biden-Harris administration, overall inflation is over 20%. So, give you this. Unless your paycheck has gone up 20% since 2021, you've lost spending power. You are making less than you were before. And this has a lot to do with the Inflation Reduction Act, the American Recovery Act, and all the other spending, billions upon billions of dollars sent to Ukraine, billions and billions of dollars given to immigrants, right? So, yeah, no, COVID just ended. It was going to come back people were going to go back to work regardless of what happened. Didn't matter that we had a change in administration at this point. Eventually, bad things end and things get back to normal. I remind everybody of this again. The Biden-Harris administration has not created a single job for Americans in their administration, in their entire tenure. There are over 300,000 less Americans working in the United States today than there were in 2021. And that number is significantly up from the 78 or 79,000 that it was at the beginning of the year. Americans are losing jobs under the Biden-Harris administration, not gaining them. So let's go take at her second comment on the economy.
You maintain Bidenomics is a success.
I maintain that when we do the work of bringing down prescription medication for the American people, including capping the cost of the annual cost of prescription medication for seniors at $2,000, when we do what we did in the first year of being in office to extend the child tax credit so that we cut child poverty in America by over 50%, when we do what we have done to invest in the American people and bringing manufacturing back to the United States so that we created over 800,000 new manufacturing jobs, bringing business back to America, what we have done to improve the supply chain so we're not relying on foreign governments to supply American families with their basic needs, I'll say that that's good work.
So here again, she got into let's blame Trump and again repeated the same lie of bringing down inflation. But the way she ended it was so appropriate, dealing with an issue like price gouging. And as I've said before, somebody please explain to me how a grocery store that has about a 2% profit margin is price gouging. It can say wherever it is down the line, but her complaint, of course, is because Americans are paying more at the grocery store. We buy our food from the grocery store. We don't buy our food from the farmer, for the most part, directly. We don't buy it from the distributor, from the manufacturer, from the transportation company. We buy it from the grocery store. All those costs get passed up to the grocery store. We pay enough to give the grocery store a 2% profit margin. Okay? So explain to me how 2% profit is price gouging, which grocery stores employ a lot of people that they have to pay, just telling you. Okay? But raising our taxes to the point where 30% would be the nominal tax bracket. Explain to me how that's not gouging, but 2% is, right? Okay. So let's go back to our little chart here. Defending against terrorism. Did she spend any time talking about the border? Because I'm going to use that because I'm going to give her the break and say instead of the number 8 issue on our chart here, dealing with immigration, I'm going to say defending against terrorism is what she talked about here. So let's see what Kamala Harris had to say about the border.
During the Biden-Harris administration, there were record numbers of illegal border crossings. Why did the Biden-Harris administration wait 3.5 years to implement sweeping asylum restrictions?
Well, first of all, the root causes work that I did as vice president, that I was asked to do by the president, has actually resulted in a number of benefits, including historic investments by American businesses in that region. The number of immigrants coming from that region has actually reduced since we began that work. But I will say this, that Joe Biden and I and our administration worked with members of the United States Congress on an immigration issue that is very significant to the American people and to our security, which is the border. And through bipartisan work, including some of the most conservative members of the United States Congress, a bill was crafted, which we supported, which I support. And Donald Trump got word of this bill that would have contributed to securing our border. And because he believes that it would not have helped him politically, he told his folks in Congress, don't put it forward. He killed the bill. A border security bill that would have put 1,500 more agents on the border. And let me tell you something, the Border Patrol endorsed the bill. And I'm sure in large part because they knew they were working around the clock and 1,500 more agents would help them. That bill would have allowed us to increase seizures of fentanyl. Ask any community in America that has been devastated by fentanyl what passing that bill would have done to address their concern and a pain that they've experienced.
So you would push that legislation again. I just want to ask
about... Not only push it, I will make sure that it comes to my desk and I would sign it.
Just one other...
Okay, so let's break this down into a couple of things. First off, benefits. Somebody explain to me what benefits we've got in the United States by bringing in 20 million illegals. Would it be the higher rent prices? Would it be the rapes and murders? Would it be the robberies? Would it be, I don't know, the grocery stores being ransacked? Can Aurora, Colorado, with the Venezuelan migrants, tell us about their apartment complex being terrorized? Those are the benefits. Okay. So let's take a look at the higher investments that have been made on the southern border. Yeah, I will agree. There's a lot more companies hiring security. Ammunition companies are definitely seeing benefit in more sales. Gun stores are having good times. Yeah, those are real benefits. Okay. Then she gets into the blaming Trump for all of it. Now, I want somebody to tell me this. What office has Donald Trump held since 2021? What has he been able to influence? Oh, he was the potential presidential nominee. So, Congress loves Donald Trump so much. Mitch McConnell and Donald Trump are such great buddies. Kevin McCarthy, Mike Johnson, such great buddies of Donald Trump. They'll listen to whatever he has to say, right? No, this is pure gaslighting, pure lying, trying to deflect the blame on somebody who isn't in office, who didn't have the ability to do anything for it, and she's going to try to blame Donald Trump. I'm sorry, I will give Dana Bash credit in she didn't go far enough, but I will give her credit in this. Over and over, if you've noticed in this, she has tied Kamala Harris to Joe Biden because she kept saying, in the Biden-Harris administration, she would not let Kamala Harris distance herself from the her current position as vice president. So let's keep on going down our list here, all right? And let's take a look at what's next. Well, yeah. So did we touch on money in politics? No. Did we touch on reducing healthcare costs? Oh, she did at the very end when she talked about the child tax credit that she wants to increase to $6,000 after, of course, Trump had said that they wanted to increase it to $5,000. So, I'll see year 5 and give you 6. That was all it was. She talked about Social Security? Not at all. She talked about reducing crime? Not at all. Okay, the dealing with immigration? All right. I'll give her the last one where I tied that one in. Did she talk about drugs? No. Did she talk about the budget deficit? No. Did she talk about the way the political system works? No. Okay. Job situation? Gee, that would be an important one. No, she didn't talk about that. So finally we get down, I don't know, where are we? About 13, 14 here. Improving the energy system. So we're now down to something here. And gas prices are important to us all. We'll give you that. Whether it's the gas you're putting in your car, the gas you're cooking with on the stove, the gas you're heating with on your house, doesn't matter. So she got into fracking, all right? And this is a big one in Pennsylvania, all right? Let alone North Dakota and everything, but Pennsylvania is a super swing state. Basically, whoever wins Pennsylvania wins this election. We all know that. And fracking is huge in Pennsylvania. So let's see what she said about fracking.
Do you still want to ban fracking?
No, and I made that clear on the debate stage in 2020, that I would not ban fracking. As vice president, I did not ban fracking. As president, I will not ban fracking.
In 2019, I believe, in a town hall, you said you were asked, would you commit to implementing a federal ban on fracking on your first day in office? And you said, there's no question I'm in favor of banning fracking. So yes. So it changed in that campaign?
In 2020, I made very clear where I stand. We are in 2024, and I've not changed that position, nor will I going forward. I kept my word, and I will keep my word.
Yeah, if anyone believes anything that came out of her mouth in this clip, I've got some oceanfront property in Arizona to sell you. Okay. Notice how she tries to cover up this pandering right here. Well, Dana Bash says in 2019, you said, I'm completely for fracking, yada, yada. And Kamala Harris says, and in 2020, I said this. In 2020, you were the vice president, and Joe Biden made that decision, okay? And it wasn't a popular one either. But because you're pandering so much to Pennsylvania right here, we know you're going to do it. Flat out, pure and simple, you are. It's just funny how the topics that they talked about were very well selected through here. We talked about issues that affect all of us, the economy. We talk about the border, okay, which a little bit getting in there, and you figure at least you have Arizona being a swing state, so that was issue. Fracking, we've got to talk about Pennsylvania. That was fine. But at the very beginning, she said she stands by her values. She's never changed her values. Yet right here in the fracking part, she talks about how she's changing her opinions. Okay, and not that there's anything wrong with changing opinions. I've done it. You've done it. Everybody has. As the world changes, your ideas on things get different. But not stuff like this. She's right. She hasn't changed her values. She's always been a Marxist. She's always been a communist sympathizer. She always will be. None of us, Republican, Democrat, Independent, can believe a word this woman says. It was a train wreck. Her poll numbers should and inevitably will go down. Her honeymoon phase is over. The convention is behind her. The next thing in just a little less than 2 weeks is the debate. She'll probably be completely embarrassed in the debate. She lost her bid to change the rules again. If you saw ABC said, no, they're going to have the muted microphones. You're going to stand and there's no notes. She's going to be totally embarrassed. Trump needs to go into that with the same strategy he had against Biden. Shut up. Let her talk for 90 seconds. Every 90 seconds she talks, she's losing tenths of a percentage point when people realize how stupid this woman is. After watching this yesterday, I'm more optimistic that she will be thrown into the dustbin of history, and maybe with a little luck, her job at McDonald's will still be available when she's unemployed come January 2025. Pinball out.